you should greet the listeners this time.
It's just not fair because you're looking at the computer screen, so you get to decide how long we take the temperature of the room. But hi, everyone. Welcome back.
I was cueing you in. I wasn't saying, why haven't you done it yet? I was just saying, hey, you should do it.
Are we already fighting?
We're already fighting. We're already
Well, welcome back to the next fight between me and my husband on this podcast of what I think about.
You know what I did today? You probably didn't see it because you don't look at my social media.
Oh, no. What did you do?
Why are you so worried about it?
I always assume it's something bad for me.
Well, no, I posted a story asking for if anybody had any suggestions for questions or topics.
Oh.
And it's hard to sift through the thousands of responses.
Did we get 3?
They're definitely not wrong. Would you want to hear some of these topics?
Sure.
I'm just handpicking a few out of the ocean of topics we received.
We've been extremely popular. Yeah, what's up?
My friend Nick Mickelson, who, I did that I Miss You video with him. Mm-hmm. He asked this. He said, where is the top of ramen? I think he just meant where's the top of top ramen, but he put top of twice. Nick, you're going to have to clarify this.
Know better, do better.
Where is it? He wants to know what you think. That's the name of the podcast, after all.
Where is the top of top ramen?
Yeah.
I just think it's saying that it's the top one, like number one ramen. I don't think it's related to the ceiling or...
See, I would say it's the upper layer.
That's what I was just saying. It wasn't.
I don't know if I read it that way. Is it? You read it as we're the top ramen on the market?
Yeah.
See,
which is very sad. It's not that great, but it definitely serves me when I'm in a pinch.
See, in my estimation, it's referring to you make it on the stovetop. So it's top ramen.
Oh, okay.
Does blow your mind again?
For the first time. There's a first time for everything. There's a new feeling. I'm sorry. I just got back from
we're not done with this
running
question.
Errands, I'm feeling feisty.
We'll get to your day in a minute.
Okay.
Then Nick also asked, and when are we doing that reunion dinner? Which shows how intimate our podcast is, that he's asking me when we're doing our KPGR 88.1 FM in Pleasant Grove, Utah reunion dinner. This was the best way to contact me. He was positive I would read this. Nick, I don't know. You put it together. Sorry, that's aggressive. I'll throw some dates at me. We can figure it out. I'll go to dinner with you whenever. Just to get out of recording this.
That has been a very impactful thing that you've done in your life.
What?
The KPGR. Did I even say all of the initials in the right spot?
We would say K-Pigger for short.
On purpose?
And don't get your racist mind thinking about any other words.
I wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, it's K-Pig.
KPGR.
And so we had pig logos everywhere.
Wow, high school was a really fun time for you.
Yeah, so my high school radio station, I was the color commentator on sports, and I had my own show and a show with Skylar Hardman called The Realm of Epicness, where we would play a mix of alternative rock and the 2 rap songs we were allowed to play.
So when sometimes couples ask each other, like, if we had met in high school, do you think that we would still be together? The answer is no.
No, because you were an orchestra nerd.
Yeah, that was the defining factor here.
I don't hang out with orchestra nerds. We all know.
Okay.
Okay, next topic.
Okay, I'm ready.
I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Tim Ballard.
I almost said I'm familiar, but I don't want to be associated with that crowd. Yeah, what about this fellow?
You have any thought? I don't know. Who is he? Is he that guy that saves children?
Oh, he's the guy that was known for saving children when really he was
nice.
Trafficking the women that were volunteering.
Wait, he was what?
Anyway, what?
He did what? He saved women. Is that what you meant to say?
Nope, I believe I said what I meant.
We're talking about the Sound of Freedom hero right now.
We're talking about the guy that was played in Sound of Freedom.
I saw the movie. He saved a child.
I don't know how to break this to you, but I would urge you to read the newspaper. Okay, what about Tim Ballard? I'm still waiting for the question here.
That was just a topic suggestion.
Oh, like an overall topic? You know what? This actually did come up at work, which is probably not a great place for this topic to come up.
What? Your work's not about saving kids?
Stop it. I had a team like meeting, and then we did lunch afterward. So team lunch, and we started talking about Tim Ballard, and some members of my team didn't know anything about it. So I, gave them the gist that there are these women who are, coming against Tim Ballard, saying that
But he's like a good guy.
Saying that he was really inappropriate. There's a thing called the couples ruse where he and these volunteer women had to pretend to be like really kinky married couples who were in the market for children so that he could locate these trafficked children and then rescue them.
You gotta do whatever it takes to save kids.
I don't even like it when you're joking about it. It makes me feel the heebie-jeebies.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway.
But I think you should watch Sound of Freedom before you make any sort of...
Stop. So essentially just really inappropriate stuff went on, and they're saying that are they using the rape word?
Yeah, I think so. Or at least so attempted.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, lots of really terrible things went down.
To the listeners out there. Unless you guys like him, then please.
No, but the conversation, the argument came up of like, well, why are these, why were these women so stupid? And why would they stay there? And I was like, ooh, that's victim blaming and shaming. And then I posed the question, well, haven't you ever stayed in a work meeting that you were really uncomfortable in? It doesn't have to be sexually. And we had all just been in a work meeting together that was wildly uncomfortable.
It was very meta.
Yeah. And anyway, it was uncomfortable for everyone as we walked back from getting our ramen, actually. So all of these topics are intertwining here.
My take is he is the Bill of saving children. Which if I had said that like 20 years ago, that would mean he was the funniest guy saving children. But now it means a very different thing.
This whole conversation is just making me think about dark things.
Sorry. Thought we could keep it lighthearted and talk about Tim Ballard, but my mistake. All right,
keep it lighthearted about Tim Ballard and Bill Cosby. Yeah, great.
So we can move on. I've been meaning to ask you, are your eyebrows real?
You know what?
They look very defined today.
Great question. Are they real? Yes, as in I have real eyebrows. And then also...
We're getting philosophical. What is real? What does existing mean?
No, in that I just got them touched up. I get them microbladed. And that's how I wake up every morning, and you think that I look incredible because I have eyelash extensions and I have microbladed eyebrows. So I just don't wear makeup anymore. Almost 100% of the time.
But for the viewers at home, is it all tattoo? Is it hair?
Just the way you were looking at me was so funny just now. There is hair and it is tattoo also. They tattoo over. It's a semi-permanent tattoo, so it's not like, the ones it's not like this.
See, to me, semi-permanent would mean not permanent.
Well, it's semi-permanent in that it lasts for, like up to 2 years. But I just go and get them touched up because I spend a lot of time outside in the summer. So then it kind of, I don't know, the color starts to fade and then it starts not looking as great anymore. So I did that, and now they're all covered in basically like vitamin E infused Vaseline. So I'm going to be extra shiny for a few days.
That's good.
While it heals.
That's good for the podcast clips. The shine.
Yeah, the shining.
The shining.
Yeah. Can this podcast episode be called The Eyebrow Shining? Or The Shining, and then in parentheses, Adrienne's eyebrows.
What do you think, listeners?
They're not going to be able to respond to it.
But when it comes out, they can tell us what to name it.
We will have already named it.
Oh. You're always the thinker, aren't you? You can't scowl at me because of your Botox, so don't even try.
I know, you're making me sound so fake. It is preventative Botox, okay?
Prevent you from scowling.
I don't want the permanent crease between my eyebrows, and I'm on enough Zoom calls every day that make me question things. So I decided to be preventative.
Nothing makes you want to get Botox more than having online meetings where you just look at your face the entire time.
Truly, though, and I'm like, oh.
That's funny. Well, you look great.
I noticed that you haven't had your eyebrows microbladed.
No,
you don't have eyelash extensions, and you are getting a little wrinkly up here.
Yeah.
So
am I? I don't know if I'll ever get wrinkly here because my skull is so huge and my skin's pulled so tight against it that
it's like a swim cap.
Yeah.
It's just gonna permanently be baby smooth.
Like my skull gets bigger right here. Does your skull get bigger right here?
No.
Like mine, there's from right here to this is more out.
I think that
like
just means you have more.
A mushroom.
It's like a primate level brow. You've got a heavy brow.
Was that a nice thing to say?
I'm just. No, it was not. We have fun together, right?
We do. Do you have anything? Me talking about your eyebrows was me gracefully segueing into your day since you wanted to talk about it.
That was really all I wanted to say.
Oh, thank goodness. Just kidding. But what we do want to talk about is we did our trip to Vegas. My mom got to see her favorite player, Kelsey, in person to see him play the Raiders.
Guys, it was really fun. We had a great time.
Yeah, we did. We drove to Vegas. You were worried my dad was going to drive 60 miles per hour the whole way.
To be fair, his family is wonderful and perfect. I married into the best family ever. Also, whenever we drive up north, which I think this is probably because he's stressed about the traffic, preemptively stressed about the traffic.
He's a worrier, not a warrior.
He is a worrier for sure. So we went up to Salt Lake in October together, and I think he was going 55 miles an hour in the carpool lane. People were honking and passing him, and it was a whole thing. That's not the first time this has happened. So when we were going down to Vegas and he wanted to drive, I was like, Jordan, I really need you to drive because Vegas is 7 hours to get to Vegas from where we live?
No, only about 5.5.
Okay. Well, I was worried it was going to take 7. So we get over, we have all of our stuff with us. We're packing up the car because it was us, Jordan's parents, and then Jordan's brother, one of his brothers. And Jordan's like, hey, where are the keys? I'm happy to drive the first leg for you or the whole thing. And then his dad politely pats him and is like, oh, no, I'm feeling okay. And then Jordan's like, but we want to get there.
And I want you to know, it doesn't super bother me. They drive slow, but I could not be in a car with you where you were constantly looking at the miles per hour. So I just want you to know that. It
stresses me out when cars start passing us on the right because he's in the carpool lane, but they want to use that as, a fast lane, which it should be. It should be.
The carpool lane is not a fast lane. It's a carpool lane.
It should be a fast lane.
I don't think that lane has to be going. I agree with you. It should be faster than how my dad drives it. But I don't think that lane has to be faster than the lane here to the right of it. Because that's the fast lane of normal drivers. You're in the passenger lane.
I understand, but getting into traffic, merging in when you're already all the way over to the left and you need to start, merging to get off the freeway to get to your exit or whatever, then it just makes a really dangerous situation when you're trying to merge into the right lane when traffic is going faster than you are.
All right, I didn't come here for a lecture, but...
I'm just saying, I'm right, you're wrong, get it together.
But we drove to Vegas. You wore your...
My chief gear.
No. Well, yeah, chief gear. You haven't worn it on the podcast, but you have a sweater that's the NFL logo, but it says Taylor's version on it. And you got the most compliments. It was such a mixture of people you could tell were annoyed by Taylor Swift, but so many Taylor Swift fans there that were there just taking pictures of Kelsey.
Guys, it was unreal. I do have some pretty solid pre-game pics, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, she was taking a picture of Kelsey's butt.
I wanted to see if I could get his face. It wasn't my fault. He was turned around. Okay. I was just zooming in.
You were zooming in, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I wore my Taylor Swift Eras shirt, which I actually also got at the Vegas Raiders Stadium. So it was, a full circle.
They weren't selling it at the game. They were selling it at the Taylor Swift concert that was there. Just
back when we went to the Eras tour together in March, we got that shirt there, and then I wore it back to the arena for this game. Did I clarify enough?
I wasn't saying you were doing it.
Did I clarify enough?
Look,
every time you try to look more reasonable, I will just get louder. Okay,
I don't know how to say this, but you need a personality other than arguing.
I don't know how to respond to that without proving you right, and this is killing me.
Just kidding. It was a really mean thing to say.
Okay, so I had my Taylor Swift shirt on, and then I had my Taylor's version sweatshirt that tied around my waist, and I had so many women, only women, be like, "Oh my gosh, can we please get a picture?" There was this lady. There's the official truck of the NFL or something parked outside in this tailgating area. And there's this lady, she was maybe mid-60s. She had all the dreadlocks, lots of beads throughout the dreadlocks. She couldn't really keep her eyes all the way open, if you know what I mean. And she was just talking. She was like, "Right on. Is she here today? Do you know?" And I was like, she's not. She's on tour in Brazil right now, but we gotta bring her spirit to the stadium, I guess. And she was like, "I just think what you're wearing is the best." And I was like, "Okay, thanks." She wanted to give me a hug.
Don't act like you were weirded out. You loved it.
I mean, it was nice. And then there's this cute couple that saw me in the Raiders shop, and one girl called her girlfriend over and was like, "Oh my gosh, Leslie, you have to see this girl." And she put her hand on my shoulder, was like, "Stay there." And she went and got her girlfriend and then came back over and was like, "Hey, we need pictures." It was really fun.
You were the belle of the ball. And I was having a great day because it was a football game and it was fun. And then I won all my sports bets that day. I was up $300.
Jordan has started a sports bet addiction recently.
I think I'm over a year in.
That's relatively recent.
But I had a great day.
So I'll usually ask him on game days, "How are your bets today?" And sometimes he's like, "Let's not talk about it." But this day, I was like, "How are your bets?" And he's like, "I'm up more than $300.
So I was like, we're in Vegas after the game. I'm like, let's go play blackjack. My little brother was hanging out with us. His friend was hanging out with us. And I wanted to show him how cool it could be to play blackjack.
Yeah.
And so we go to this the Oyo garbage casino, because they usually have $5 blackjack.
The seediest, creepiest casino.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not fun.
And all the $5 tables were pretty full. So I'm like, we're doing great. Maybe we'll if we're playing $10 tables, we'll win faster.
Plus, the $5 tables were full, but then we could just play with each other at a table and not have other weird, drunk, sad people next to us.
Yeah, which backfired. So I had $100. I got $100 for you, which you've been telling people Jordan lost $300. And no, it's we lost $300.
Jordan lost $200.
And you lost $100. Uh-huh. And so it's a team effort.
I lost $95, and then I tipped $5, which I realized I should not have done.
No.
She made us lose $200 on that table. Well, it was really not her fault.
It's not her fault, but also people usually tip when they're losing. But
well, that's not very nice.
It's not very nice to make us lose.
Well, she didn't do it on purpose.
Maybe she did.
That's true. Maybe she did.
So we went to a table that was empty. It was just us. And this lady was the fastest dealer in the world. And she was she made all the right moves, but she was making moves before we said it, which kind of bothers me.
It actually really bothered me because she started like clearing away my chips before I had not said stay or hit.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
But she knew the rules. She played it, but sometimes having someone that doesn't know how to play is kind of a way to mix up the table a little bit. No, you know how to play.
I mean, I don't. Well, technically the rules say that you should hit on that 15. I'm like, I don't care what the rules say. I want to know what my heart says, what my gut feels.
Did I tell you about the guy that when I was in Vegas with... We were all in Vegas, but me and Brian went and played blackjack.
Yeah, yeah.
Did I tell about the guy that he sat down at the table, he's wearing sunglasses, and his girl's behind him.
Oh, no.
And me and Brian and another guy are playing. And he's like, I played blackjack before a couple times. We're like, oh, cool. And then he has like an 18 and the dealer's showing a 10. And he's like, hit me. And we're like, you don't want to hit on 18, dude.
No.
And he's like, I play it my way. And he lost like 6 hands in a row and left. He kept hitting when he had like 18 or 19.
Oh, yeah, that stresses me out. It's just getting a lot of belligerent drunk people around a table for a card game that's already rigged against you, even if you're sober.
So we sat on this table. We lost $200 in like 5 minutes. Like, it was so fast.
5 minutes. Like, your brother and Johnny, his friend, they were standing behind us being like, so when do you start getting chips? And we're like, oh, we don't know.
Because I'm okay to lose money if it's like having fun. Like if I was there for like an hour.
But it was so fast.
And I'm like, oh, we drove.
Whereas the last time we were in Vegas, we went to the same hotel. And I think that I only had $30 in cash that we used for me. And like I left having doubled my money, but we were there for like an hour. Like you go down and then you go up a little. And I don't know, you can have some fun with it. But this was not fun.
No, and so I was just depressed, and you were like, you can take out another 100, which was nice.
You looked so sad.
Well, I was just like, oh, so we leave now?
It was so once fast. Again, 5 minutes. We've been there 5 minutes.
So I take 100, and I go to a table where they've been winning. This guy has a ton of chips on his table, so many chips. I put down my 100 there. They give me all the chips, and this guy next to me probably has like $800 in chips, and he's throwing out probably $100, $200 bets on the table. Insane.
The dealer is like, yeah, this is the good table to join. This is a hot table right now. Everyone's having lots of luck.
As soon as I sit down, I think I lost every hand except for one. And this guy was doing huge bets, and it cleared out all of his money. And even the dealer was like, maybe just do like a minimum bet. The
dealer literally said, okay, you sit out. You're going to sit out this round. Well, the other thing is he kept giving her like $20 tips like every round. And so she wanted him to still have money. So she's like, ooh, let's hold off for just a second there, buddy.
He was in the saddest casino, losing hundreds and not caring. So his life is either really, really good or really, really bad right now.
The absolute worst. Yep.
So I think in total of all the hands we played, I think I won 3.
Are you including the ones you pushed?
Yeah, maybe, because the ones I would get 20 and it'd be like a 6, and then they would get a 4 and a 10, or a 5 and a 10, and I'd lose on a 20.
Yeah, the dealer's hand had the most outrageous luck.
And then when you're on 16, what most dealers will say, because 16 is no man's land, so either you should always hit on 16 or always stay.
Our listeners are probably like super well versed in blackjack.
Yeah, I do have a big gambling contingent. Anyway.
So when you have 16, you're always supposed to hit or always supposed to stay. Your choice, but you need to stick with it.
Yeah, because then law of averages, who knows, whatever. It probably doesn't matter. But I always hit. But it got to my last $10.
I always stay.
Yeah.
I never ask for another card. So we're down to the very, very last $10, the last bet that we can place for this.
And I have a 16.
And he looks at me and he's like, do I stay? I've been
losing every hand, so you tell me.
And so I said, stay. Because I didn't want you to bust right after that. And then because I told him not to hit, the dealer got a 2, which we would have won the hand with, and then they would have busted. So
yep.
that was how we ended our gambling night. And then we came back to the hotel. I mean, by that point, his parents had gone to sleep in their room. But the next morning, we were talking to them at breakfast and told them that we just lost $300. So Jordan's game bets didn't, it was net zero or whatever. And what was it? Your mom was like, well, it was the Sabbath. And she kind of looks at, well, Jordy, it was the Sabbath.
Well, you went to a football game on the Sabbath, Mom, so maybe you cursed me.
I know, right?
But the moral of the story is never take your wife's advice.
That's what you got out of this.
Yep.
I'm the one who said that you could take out an extra 100.
I know, I shouldn't have listened to you on that. That more so than the last hand.
Okay, sorry. So no, really, I'm just an enabler.
Yeah.
And you have a problem.
It's not a problem. It's a solution to our mortgage.
I really don't want to depend on that.
Well, I'm headed to Vegas after this episode, so...
Since we're talking about entertainment, can I just say one last quick thing?
You may say one last quick thing, and that is all.
I remembered the best part of Thanksgiving, which we never brought up, and that was that your grandma came for Thanksgiving. And her memory is really touch and go and mostly gone. Which, I mean, she's almost 90. She's earned that right? But the one thing her memory, she latched little claws into in her memory was she was going to come to Thanksgiving at our house on one condition. And that is that her grandson, Jordan, would perform live stand-up comedy for her with just our family.
Because she was like, you all go to his shows and I never get to go, which she's come to in the past year. She just can't remember it.
Yeah. 2 or 3, honestly.
Yeah. But it's we called her to invite her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, all right, only if you do this. And I was like, okay. Back in my mind, I'm like, she will not remember.
She'll never remember. Yeah.
And she remembered. She talked about it every day with my parents, apparently.
I mean, her memory is so far gone in a lot of ways that she'll forget my name, which, cool, I married into the family 6 years ago. That's fine. But then sometimes she'll forget Jordan's name. And
to be fair, a lot of my family forgets your name. Just kidding.
And yet you're the only one who has ever called me your ex-wife's name.
Yeah.
But I loved, oh my gosh, I encouraged like nothing else just because I know that it made you so uncomfortable. But I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, Jordan.
Yeah.
That is a great idea. And then Gigi's just sitting there beaming that like, yeah, this is a great idea. And I get to watch my grandson for the very first time ever do stand-up comedy. It was great. She did settle for just a recording, like a clip.
I had this plan because I really didn't think I'd need to, but I'm like, there's no way I'm doing stand-up at Thanksgiving dinner. But I will have a clip from my last special play. Your mom was cackling. It was so funny. We all knew that you were so uncomfortable. It was terrible. But anyway, that was for my cute grandma. That was the very best part of Thanksgiving. Very cool. You want to talk about any other holidays that are long since passed? That was only a couple of weeks ago. Just kidding. All right, I think we need to wrap this episode up. Okay, one final question for you. Okay. What am I getting for Christmas from you? You said you didn't want gifts this year. You just want experiences with me. And so your experience is going to be waking up to no presents with me. Can't answer that. Won't answer it. Yay! But you do have some things. If you're good. I do? If you're good. This podcast needs to get over 100 downloads or else you don't get any presents. Oh, dang. Or you have to go back to Vegas and try your luck. Yeah. I really hope it's better than the last time. Papa Vegas is going to determine whether Christmas is coming. Vegas seems like more of a feminine city. Like, because it takes all your money and leaves you sad and alone. Yeah, and it's just drying up in a desert. It needs moisturizer. You and your dirty mind. I know what you're talking about. Me? What? All right. Well, I think we've had a great episode. I've enjoyed sitting and chatting with you. I've had a wonderful
time.
Have
you? I was mean for a lot of today.
Yeah, that was kind of messed up of you.
This is where you say, oh, sorry, I've also not been very kind.
But I have been kind.
I can't argue with you because of your stupid argumentative comment.
Well, stupid a nice word to say there?
It was nicer than the word I was thinking of.
All right. We'll do one of your classic sign-offs.
I'm not going to do the rock one again.
That's what the listeners want, though. No, you don't have to do it.
No, although it did make me furious that I get compared to the rock for my chain over the turtleneck situation. And Taylor Swift, the goddess that she is, wore a black turtleneck with a silver chain over it to the last Chiefs game to support her boyfriend. And she looks like a freaking supermodel.
I will have to say Nate, listener / friend / wifey, Nate Farr sent that to me.
Well, there was another lady who had made the same comparison on Twitter, but I don't know that her husband had, publicly plastered the comparison photo between our good friend,
so funny.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It just is crazy timing.
It really was.
To do that. And thanks, Nate Farr, for being on Lady Twitter for us to send that to me so I could send it to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right. Well, thanks, wifeys. That's it. You can go now.
That was it.
Thanks.
Are you okay?
Should I have some more? What?
Usually you're a little bit more excited. That was like you're dismissing us from detention or something.
Well, I sometimes feel peace in my heart. I'm like, thanks. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening.
That's really all we're going to get.
Can I eat now?
Okay, that's the classic sign off.
I need food right this moment.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.